Hi, Rona. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So let's chat to learn.
Awesome. What is our topic for today?
Okay, I'd like to talk about informal discussion boards or informal spaces that we can offer discussions in.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Okay,
What are your
let's.
thoughts? Let's talk about what would be the purpose of an informal space, because a lot of classes have formal discussion areas, which is part of the crowd. Now we're talking about informal spaces. Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Okay, I've had different situations where the informal space has been to offer support,
Mhm.
to create a feeling of camaraderie, and in contexts where you have cohorts, that's even very helpful. Where you have a cohort of learners going through a program, that's very helpful. So it's more for building that connection along with support. How about you? What has been the purpose on your side?
Well, that is actually it. I tend to have usually four informal discussion boards in my class. Informal meaning that you're not required, but I'll
Okay.
explain to you what they are. So the whole idea is to start developing the relationships and have the support of each other and knowing that they can rely on each other.
Okay.
So one of the ones I usually have in my class is an introduce yourself discussion
Okay.
board. And I'll give them some prompts about, give us a fun fact about you. What do you hope to get out of this program? What do you bring into the
Mhm.
program? Stuff like that. I have a second one that's called the water cooler, or you might hear it called a cafe, a student cafe or something
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
where the instructor is not in that discussion, but it's for the learners just to engage with each other.
Okay.
Um, Another one is a shared resources discussion area where if they're out there and they find a very cool article or they find a cool website or a tool and they want to share it with everybody, they can post it in there and others can see what they did. Why do you like it? What did you do with it? That kind of thing. Not necessarily related specifically to something we're doing that week, but just something that they've come across. And then the fourth one, which I really like, is called Ask a Peer, Ask an Instructor. So if they have a question about how the course is going or flowing, or they can't find something, they can post it there. And if their peer has the answer, the peer can respond.
Okay, nice.
Usually, as the instructor, I will hold back to give peers space to respond. And it's so great when they're actually helping each other out.
Nice, because I've had that last one with a Q&A,
Yeah,
just a Q&A space that
right.
allows. The introduction, I like that. Usually, most of the time, whatever, especially that we've talked about surveys, informal surveys, and uh, the survey, I will see the introductions as an instructor, but not the other colleagues. So I like that discussion board with that. Uh, I found that also informal discussion boards or spaces can work in different contexts for different purposes. Like I've had two main experiences uh, with teacher candidates who are working in for their preparation to become teachers.
Yeah.
In practicum courses, those informal spaces have been very helpful. And it all depends on whether the context allows for it. But in my situation, where I was teaching, WhatsApp groups with me present in them were acceptable. So the WhatsApp group has been very helpful. They would be placed in a particular school. They have a particular question that they are facing. Even an emergency comes up and they need something, they can post over there, their colleagues in the same group can. So that really brought them together quite strongly. Another situation I've seen, WhatsApp groups in Canada where I'm not part of it, but a WhatsApp group for the teacher candidates as a cohort to support each other over there. So that's also I've seen both usages to be very helpful.
I want to highlight what you just mentioned because I think it's it's a great example that not everything has to happen within the LMS, the learning management system in which the course is sort of hosted, shall we say.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're out there. I think the use of social media, something like WhatsApp, is a great idea because I don't have to log into the university, log into the LMS, log into the whatever to see what people are saying where I can post my question, as opposed to something that is so quick and so almost instant as WhatsApp.
Exactly. Now, mind you, there are the ethical concerns and guidelines with regards to whether your university allows this or not, whether those learners themselves are comfortable with it or not. But at the present time, the amazing thing is that there's a huge variety of tools that you can make use of for such a purpose. You know, there's no shortage of tools that you can benefit from. And in case you're limited with the platform that the university is making use of, at the present time, 90% of those platforms have an app for iPhones. So you can create something that works with instantaneous communication. But definitely making use of things or platforms that the learners are on originally makes that informal space more effective.
Now, see, this is one of those things, getting to know your learners, things that you can get an idea of what platforms they might be on already to access. I think the big thing here is to think bigger than just the context of the LMS. Yes, there's accessibility things you need to think about. There's terms and conditions that you need to think about, right? With using the social media. But this is all part of the thing. This is all part of it. And this is even something, as the class, they could investigate one of the social media apps that they would like to learn and see if it would suit everybody.
You know what? I just thought of one thing. This can bring multiple things together. At the beginning of a course, it might be a good idea to, in one of those discussion boards, to have that as a topic where together they come and decide on what platform are we going to use for an informal communication and whether we need it.
Right.
They might say,
can we all access it?
Yes, yes.
Right. There's a lot of different things to think about to make everything equitable, you know, for everyone in the class, sort of thing. But again, the thinking outside the box and engaging the learners in the solution finding is an important thing.
I fully agree. And one thing I guess that's important to keep also in mind is they're not obliged to be there. This being an informal space is not an obligation for all learners to be there. This is an opportunity for a support or for a space that is optional.
Yeah. And that's what informal spaces are. It's important to have them, to let people have that freedom and that opportunity at the same time.
Okay, this brings another question then. Do I always have to be as an instructor on that informal space or no?
Oh, I don't. I think it depends. I think that is something that I would discuss with the learners.
Okay. And
you
that's
know, how do you want me to be in this space, or do you want me to be in this space?
And that can be part of that bigger discussion.
Exactly.
That bring in.
Exactly.
Okay. As always, lots of food for thought. Thank you, Ange. This is really helpful.
That was really great. Thanks, Rana. See you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.